China and the Darjeeling Sound. Every November, a tradition extended for over 1,000 years begins again. Herders from the sands ventured deep into the Alxa Desert to gather their camels and lay their home across the sands. Every May, when the plants resumes their status, the herders once again drive the camels back to their locations. And for every November, we are seeing that the herders spend over 11 days and nights to relocate the camels. This is not only relocations and migrations of the camels, it's also a chapters written by the herders and the camels to witness their ancient wisdoms. And it is the rebirth of the ancient wisdom here in the modern civilization. Dear viewers with China Media Group, I'm actually located in the Alxa Right Banners in Mongolia, and I am actually with one of the herders, Wang Gang. Every November, the relocations of the camels begin, and in that video clips, you can see a massive migrations of these camels. These are what happened in the past 10 days. Right now, the camel has been relocated, and today we are also seeing this one of the major heroes in this kind of thing, Mr. Wang Gang. So please say hello to our viewers. Hello, everyone. So I think that we might be really curious about the relocation and migrations of the camels. The migrations of the camels is one of the major features for Alxa Right Banners. Could you give us an introduction about the migration of the camels? Every year in May, in the summertime, after collecting their furs, we have actually herding them in the Darjeeling Desert. And in November, we have organized these camels to be back to let them spend their winters in our family. So how many people that we formed for this team to collect all of our camels? This time, we organized 9 people and our one team to collect all the camels. So that is to say, we sent 9 representatives to representing all of us to get all the camels from the desert, right? Yes. Could you introduce us? Who is the eldest one in the team? And among the 9 people in our group, the eldest is around 50 years old, while the youngest is around 30 years old. That is to say, from the 1950s to the 1990s, I was born after 1980s. So this is a team where we have seen 3 generations of the people formed. As the core part of this kind of migration, how long have you been participating in the relocations of the camels? I started the nomadic life in 2005. I have over 20 years experience in the nomadic life. Compared with your fathers and your grandfathers, what is the major differences? I think we used to be riding the camels, and it's also spending over 1 month. And right now we are driving the motorbikes and also driving the cars. Actually, one time, we usually spend 10 days to collect all the camels. So what do you think of the differences of the camel migration this year compared with the previous years? I think that this year we saved more time while collecting the camels. And then this year we are seeing a snow just after we have started our journey. So we have no way to deal with it. We just we were suspended on that location. What are the most difficult situations that you are afraid of encountering? I think it's about the rains and the snows and also the sandstorms. We have to be suspended on the sides. You are seeing it too slightly, but you might not know that for the Nigerian desert, there are so many mountains. Usually, if you are driving one of the motorbikes among these sides, it's very easy to be fallen from the motorbikes. Yes, there's one of my colleagues who has been fallen from the motorbikes this year. And this year marks his third year. While he was joining a team, he might be driving the motorbike too quickly, or he might be lacking the experience. So that's the reason why he has fallen from the motorbikes. There's a little scratches on his arm. That is to say, driving the motorbikes in the sands is also very difficult for our drivers and for our teams. But this environment is very good for the camels. And you can see for the camels, they have a very large feet. So their feet is very suited to be working on the sands. We can also see that they have a very long eyelashes. So when the sun comes, they are going to be shut down for the natural barriers. You can also see their noses. Their noses is going to be open and closed. And they can also smell to the water sources after tens of the kilos of the meters. Camels also have the very good memories in the sands. They can identify their locations in the sands. They are very good and very smart animals scattered around the sands. It's very difficult for the herders to drive the vehicles, and this is a very treacherous journey for the herders. But are not going to finish it in a few words. We are going to show you a video clips to demonstrate you what was the most adventurous moment in the past days. On November 5th, before the winter solstice, but the winter has already come for the Alxa and the nomads. They are actually living in the peripheries of the sands. And since his father, their family was supported by the camel raising. And after 6 months of the herdings, Wang Gang, together with other different herders, they decided to go to the sands to find their camels. They have also packed everything up. And they need the water, need the flavors, need the bread, and also the petrol gases and to drive the vehicles. So everybody is ready for this journey. Wang Gang has brings this team or this fleet carrying 1 vehicle and 9 motorbikes. They are planning to heading towards the depths of the desert and trying to collect every camels which has been scattered with a radius of 115 kilometers, making sure that they are going to spend the winter safely back to their homes. And the Mongolia desert is the 3rd largest desert in China. It has been covered by the sands all the year through. So after the journey, the 2 nomads, their motorbikes has been trapped by their sands. And so you can see that there is not a very evenly distributions of these kind of camels. In order to avoid any traps in the sands, they are going to make the vehicles and also larger, and for each one motorbikes, they are not going to carry some of the packages or the parcels over 20 kilometers. They need, sometimes if the air pressure is not enough, they need to pump it. These are some of the fruits, the mooncake, and dry meat. I can see that you didn't bring a lot of water. It's cold here. So today, the most important mission for everybody is to find the right location to unpack. And before the night, they find a location and they stopped and they actually they lit it up. And right now, they are actually enjoying their dinner that times. For the Badanjilin Desert, the weather was changing all the times. And the second morning, a rain has surprised everybody. It wets the down jackets and the pants of everybody, and also the shoes. We have just traveled less than 10 kilometers this morning. And just as we get on top of these areas, we find it is raining. And so when there's rain, the camera is going to be sit down, and it's not very easy for us to spot them. So everybody has to get inside of the tents. And the tent was very small to accommodate every single one of them. The rainy day keeps 1 day, and also it has postponed the schedules. On the second day, everybody quickens up, and they have separated into 4 teams and connecting with each other with the speakers. So I'm actually standing on the top of the mountains. I'm actually trying to see whether there are any cameras through my telescope. And yesterday there was a 1 day's rains, and there are some of the frozen ices in certain areas of the sands. We are trying to avoid the sight of these sandstones. Wang Gang, with his over 20 years experience, has tracked several different camels. Every time they find one herd of the camels, they need to mark them first. For one camels they find, we need to look at their marks. Whose family does this family belongs to? And for our village, we have one marks, which is a red star on the face of the camels. We are going to understand which family has a certain family mark. We find a group of the herds, and Wang Gang was trying to driving them through his motorbikes. But he was trying to chase one camel back to the fleet. After several days of the work, the herds actually gathered over 300 camels. Right now, they need to drive these kind of herds back to his family and back to his village. This is also very difficult work. Actually, for a herd for over 300 camels, it needs 4 motorbikes to be working in a team. We are trying to gather everybody in order to form a better team, and tomorrow we are going to be quick enough step up. The herders are trying to lead the camels back to their homes. I know where my camels are, and I know how many hours that my camels are from our hometown. So I'm trying to make my camels follow me by roaring out my motorbikes. On the 14th of November, Wang Gang, with his 10 days, he collected 150 camels. With a very short break, they are going to be heading down deep into the sands to help other villagers to find their camels. Welcome back. After seeing these video clips, it's actually very touching for every single one of us, but the result is very pleasing. We can see herds of the camels every year. This year, we actually carried over 100 different camels, right? There's over 600 camels. This is a very magnificent herds. How could you find them by one size? Identifying that it's from your family. Yes, for each one of the camels, we have their marks imprinted on their heads. So what is your family mark? And I think that I have imprinted a 12 on the back leg of every single camels. There's no specific meaning for us. And we are just number 12 family in our village. That's the reason why I choose this mark. Yes, we are the family number 12. That's the reason why I have printed the 12 on every single legs of my camels. We can see for each of the camels, they have a very good fur and also a very good status. Is it because it's quite rainy in this year? So what does the camels eat in the sense? They eat the sands weed. I have a question that you know that there's not too much vegetation in the sands. Is it affecting them? No, they are the animals belongs to the sands. I also observed that while they are eating this kind of sands, they only eat the tip of the grass, right? Then they work for a while and they chew it for another type. They are not going to eat every single part of the grass, right? Yes, the camels are very smart animals. They are not going to eat every single piece of the grassland. Yes, they are balancing the ecological performances. So when they come back, what's the first thing they do? We are going to give them some of this anti-ventilation effort. And when they come back, we need to do some of this kind of ventilations, the blood testing. And we need to sterilize them because I went to Alxa before, and I also visited the Museum of the Camels, and they told me that the camels usually have a very good immune abilities, but after they come back, I think that with a very simple sterilizations, they can be part of our and in the necessary times we can travel we can use them to package ourselves. So for the camels coming back, they are going to spend 6 months together. So I think that they are going to be scattered here in our homes, and for Mr. Wang Gang, they need to observe the situations of the camels every day, and if they are malnutrited, we need to feed them with more nutrition. It is actually the pleasant times for the camels. And also, in Mr. Wang Gang's camels, he also have another group of the camels who has not been traveled. So these are the female camels with their kids. And if they are not being hurting, and they are 100% kept inside. And for the mother camels and their kids, they need to be kept there in our homes in order to keep them nutrited. So what do you feed them? So the blue horses nearness is actually the warehouses where we have blended our fat to them. Moving next, we are going to be joining Mr. Wang Gang to see what they eat here. So we have seen the door opened. It is being stocked with stews. The forage. And here we have so many different types of the hays. These are the corns. These are the alfalfas. These are the stems of the peanuts. These are the soybean. which has been provided by the Inner Mongolia. I can see that we have divided our fat into two parts. One is the fine fat, and another is the coarse fats. It's just like the staples that we are eating as the humans, right? And we also have some of the fine staples, just as the soybeans, and also some of these nutrients that we provided to the camels to make sure that their daily nutrition. And how many times do we feed them every day? We feed them twice, one time in the morning, one time in the afternoon. We have just fed them in the morning, right? So when do we feed them in the morning? Usually about 8 a.m. It is winter time, and we fed them 5 p.m. in the afternoon. I actually seen that in our households we are only 20 kilometers from the Badanki, and it is very far away from the city. So how can we transport these fat? We are telephoning the feed provider, and they are actually carrying it with the trucks. So how many kilos of the fat one camel eats every day? For one camel, it's eating 80 kilometers. That is to say, you have 100 camels, and it's going to be fed with 1,800 kilograms of fat, right? So how many days do you deliver them? For every 10 days, we are going to deliver it to them. We need to refeed them. So we can see that for the camels, they are being well fed. And for the mother camels and also the camel kids, we fed them quite good. Why? Because they have another important mission. So as we walk onto here, we can also see that on our left hand, it is milking factories. We are going to follow Mr. Wang Gang to see that is there possible that this is actually the most picky milking process. Could you introduce us that why it is very difficult for milking the camels? Camels are nothing like the other animals. They have to be fed by the milk. And with 1 to 2 minutes of the milk, they can start to be milked. So that is to say, before the milking, we are going to ask the baby camels to suck and for one bite, and after that, the camel milk is going to be coming down. So that is a very random circumstances, right? I also know that the camels, they don't like unfamiliar faces. If you are changing one person from another, they are not going to be milking. Yes. At the very beginning, we usually spend 3 to 5 days to get the camels familiar with us. After 3 to 5 days, the operators and the camels could be bonded. Because this is a very shy animals, and these are very sensitive animals. They see you for one side far away, and they are going to stop their milking. And if they are figuring that the kids are not their kids, they are going to be stopped the milking. And if their kids has been on top of their side, they are still going to be stopped the milking. So the milking process of the camels means that they need to know that it's their own kids, and then they are going to start to separate it. Every day, we have spent 2 times, and for the lactations, we usually have 2 times, one at 5 a.m. in the morning and 5 p.m. in the morning. And after the lactations or milkings in the morning, it's around 8 to 9 p.m. We are going to milk to feed the baby camels. And this is the time when the milk was secreted. And after that, where does the milk come to? We are then going to transport the milk to our cans. And after that, the temperature is going to be dropping down. We transported it every 2 days to the Badan town for sale. So that is to say, at the very beginning, you store the milk in a tank with a constant temperature. So this is the ideal temperature to lock their best nutrients. And after 2 days, we are going to send the tank to one of the milk stations in Badan town. So when did you start the collectives and join the Badan? In the year 2020. I actually participated in the collectives. I didn't participate in the mechanism for a very long time. After you join them, are there any changes? Every year, I find that after joining the community, I also figured out that my income has been doubled or tripled before I joined the industry. While we were keeping the camels, before we were milking, we were selling the camels first, and we are relying on the cashmeres. The cashmeres can also be good at producing all kinds of product, but it doesn't sell as good as other different products. It's not about the sales. And the camels every year they only produces one set of these kind of cashmeres. So that is to say, the fur does not bring us a lot of incomes. And Mr. Wang Gang, please take a break. For one bite of this camel milk, it is undertaking the hope for the heads to increase their incomes. There are so many different types of this. And after that, we have this massive Alxa industry. Next, we are going to invite locally speaking, in order to support the normal herds, we have a lot of encouragement. Before we were joining here, we were seeing a lot of product being massively produced. Today, we are really honored to invite Mr. Wang with the IoT. So, Mr. Wang, good morning. Could you say hello to other viewers joining us today? Hello, thank you. The directors of the Camel Development Centers of the Alxa Right Scientific and Science and Technological Bureaus. So I have seen his the herders, Mr. Wang's industry. I know that there are so many herders in the Alxa Right Banner. And for the Agriculture Bureau, do we have any specific promotion measures to let the herders producing more and more camel milk? Yes. And the development of the camel industry, we have actively adopting the promotion methods of in Mongolia. We are also promoting the fair development of the camel industry. Could you elaborate here? Through the subsidies, incentives, and insurances of any hazardous events, and also the technologies collecting the camel's milk. I have just seen Mr. Wang's warehouse. So do we also have the similar help from one grass to one cup of the milk? Yes, for our industry, we have experienced the process starting from the one, and for the development of the camels, it is marking the rapid development of Alxa, and it also undertaking the history and also the hope of the camel industry. You have mentioned about its history. We all know that for the history, it is called the hometown of the camel industry. And in the Alxa, so how many camels that we have in stock? Just as you have mentioned, it is the hometown for the camels. It is being called the home of the camels. Up until now, the total breedings of the camel is reaching 7.8. It's accounting for 1/3 of the national numbers, and for the Alxa Right Banner, it's reaching for 800 camels. The industry itself, starting from the year 2017, has been growing from 12,000 to 3,000 every year. There's a growth of the camels for 140 units. In the year 2025, we estimated that the total camels that we keep at our banner is going to be reaching 15,000. So what is the actual industrial output of the camel's milk? Let me put it in this way. So in the year 2024, the whole industry, the output is reaching for around, in 2012, the whole industry is going to make a breakthrough about around 1.5 trillion RMBs. Over 90% is coming from the Alxa. This is the output and also the industrial values. I also believe that for the right panels of Alxa, it is reaching 135. Okay, so starting from the total stock of 175,000 of camels to the total industry, which is marking for 30 trillion RMBs, we are also not only doing a good job at making the camel milk, but we also have other different camel-related products. This is a very diversified product range. So what is our planning here? So how can we make the herders like Mr. Wang Gang richer? And right now, we have 2,668 households featured and pillared by camel keeping. There is 290 households who have kept a very standard camel breeding, and with the development of the camel industry, we are being featured by the camel milk and also camel's cashmere. And we making the breakthroughs from 0 to 1. We are trying to be working from 1 to N. And with advancing into the high quality development, the camel's milk industry means that in April 2025, the local people's governments has signed up the strategic partnership with a lot of local companies. And they are also been signing up with a lot of large agricultural groups on the side of these the prefectures. This is actually paving way for the further development of the industry. Thank you so much, Director Wang. We have the good product. We also have a very good marketing channels here. With 1 cup of the camel milk, it is undertaking the hopes of the local herders of the grasslands. we have been working from the traditional grasslands, the traditional sands, to the productions of the milk. We are witnessing the rise of the industry of the camel milk. We want to thank Mr. Wang Gang to show us the hope of the camel industry. And we also want to thank Mr. Director Wang to demonstrating us the development of the industry. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to see you next time.